on Two Balls and a Mic. Today we have a special guest from the West Coast, all the way up north, though, by Washington. I looked up where, what was it? His hometown is like a rock throw away from Canada. It's crazy. Just like we live right next to Mexico, it's like other country.
Yeah.
But our guest is the host of the Next Generation Football Podcast. We have Mr. Shauyan. Shauyan? Oh, geez, I knew it. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to talk some football with you guys.
Oh yeah, man.
Definitely, man. So first, we were kind of juggling with our new Zoom Pro settings that we're gonna have for a watch party. We're invited to watch the Loyal this Saturday, the USL team. But we were talking about that beautiful, beautiful poster in the back.
Oh, the Premier League champions of 14-15. Yeah, it's a nice poster.
I love it, man.
Not my cup of tea.
That's okay. United's not going to win any Prems anytime soon, so it's fine.
Hey, man, we're looking pretty serious right now.
Well, it only lasts for so long.
That's true.
And that's for this season. You never know. Because right now, I don't know what's going on, Man U, what Mike's magic stuff, water is getting drank right now. But you guys are playing really good. But it's not going to be enough for the boys in blue. Because we're cruising. We're chilling now, I think. It's going
to be a good game. That FA Cup semifinal is going to be a good one.
FA Cup. But we're talking about, see, now you're deflecting. We're talking Champions League. We're talking Premier League.
Man U is going to make Champions League. Come on now.
Sure. I mean, you guys can work little. We'll be winning the Champions League.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
We'll see.
Enjoy Europa. But yeah, I mean, obviously you are a Chelsea fan, and so that's something that I kind of immediately connected with you with, amongst other things. So for our listeners, we actually got connected through Mike Kowalski. Kira K. I had actually just followed you like a couple of days before, and I was like, "Oh, it's a pretty cool podcast, pretty good information." Chelsea fan, great. And then we asked, "Hey, Mike, like, what's some of your friends or somebody you know that might want to hop onto the podcast?" And mentioned you and said, "Oh, perfect." And so, looking into it, you also participated against Jimmy Conrad, I believe, right?
Yes, I did. I have multiple times.
So I've only avenged my honor, my Mexican honor once against him. Tell us about how that went with you.
So Jimmy has done so I was at the MLS Cup final in 2016. That's the first time I met him. He did a pickup game when Toronto played Seattle. I think literally like the day of, just in the morning time. The game was at night, and that was the first time I met him. And I was the only Sounders fan, and they were surprised there was even a Sounders fan there because it was in Toronto. And they're like, wow, I didn't think any Sounders fans would actually show up to this. Toronto fans, they were all teasing me the whole time. And then that was the first time I met Jimmy. Of course, I was a lot younger. That's like 4 years ago now, too. So I was like very shy and things like that. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And then I met Mike. He was there, too. And I was like, wow, this is Mike K. It's the infamous Creator K. And and then he's done 2 pickup games in Seattle. I wasn't able to attend the third one. I helped him set up the second one. He asked me, "Oh, what are some fields? Where should we go?" And then I told my friends, "Hey, you should come to this pickup game and all that." And that one, less shy, more. It felt like I belonged more, and it was a lot more fun. But I enjoyed it a lot. I don't really play anymore, but yeah.
Oh, definitely. And he's a friend of the podcast. Actually, shouted us out yesterday during his live stream while he was watching.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so it's little things like that where it's like, what have you been doing during quarantine? Well, I've been talking with professional soccer players, just like you have over on the Next Generation Football Podcast. Do you mind me asking how young you are? You never ask anybody how old they are.
I'm 20. I'm going to be 21 in like a couple of weeks.
Okay, so we were kind of doing the math because one of our questions that kind of comes into play because I remember a little bit more vividly. I don't know if you've heard more stories or you remember Iran versus Mexico.
USA.
Mexico.
Oh, Mexico. Oh, in 2006.
In the 2006 World Cup. Do you have?
You're gonna bring up our good game against USA, but yeah.
I mean,
we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
But we're Mexico fans first. First of all, we're Mexico fans.
But did you?
I was only 6 years old, so I don't remember it. I just remember my mom screaming at the TV.
I love that it's a family affair. So I mean, how is that Iranian football culture? Because honestly, we're very foreign to it because we come from a a super specific like Mexican that kind of leads into a Latin culture, and then you have the Europeans, but you never really hear anywhere else how obviously football and soccer is just huge globally, but how is that soccer fandom in your household?
Well, both my parents, I mean, they migrated from Iran to the United States, and so for them, it's not like their first thing they think of is like sports. It's more them getting a job, being and learn like and building a lifestyle for themselves. And so sports wasn't really a big thing for them. They just never really had that opportunity. Of course, my dad like watched it here and there. Of course, everyone has seen soccer. There's no way anyone has not watched a game of soccer, watched a World Cup game, like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. So like he always like brings up like the Pele's bicycle kick. He's like he's known for the bicycle kick and all that. And my mom knows a little bit. Like if you guys know, like Ali Dai holds the most goals in international football currently. And my mom's like, yeah, he's like really well known within Iran, but there's not like a lot they can give me in regards to like specific details, who's like been the coaches throughout the years. So I had to do my own research, but I didn't grow up in Iran. I've grown up in the United States my whole life, been there many times. I have family that lives there, and it's big there, man. You see fields everywhere when you're in Iran, and everyone goes and plays. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my Farsi was good, but it's not amazing. And I remember I went to go play with the locals, and they were just so excited to like, wow, you live in America. What's that like? That sounds so amazing. And then just very welcoming. And it's a big thing there. Like soccer and I believe martial arts are the two biggest things in Iran. Those are the two biggest sports there that is played. And we're becoming one of the more well-known countries for sure. At the beginning, we weren't. I always knew we had a good country, had good players, but we weren't very well known. Definitely, we put ourselves on the map after that 2018 World Cup. ESPN named us the biggest surprise story in the 2022 World Cup right off the bat after that World Cup, which was kind of like, it was big. I was like, damn, ESPN is talking about us. So that's pretty cool. And it's a big thing, man. We're producing players that are playing all over, like in league, the Premier League, the Bundesliga. Like we have good players everywhere. So it's a big thing for Iranians. It's just us now putting ourselves on like the map in regards to being one of the top countries. We are one of the top countries in Asia, but we want to put ourselves on the map for all the other countries. Like, wow, we're playing Iran. I'm kind of shitting myself on this game. Yeah.
It's always a good feeling to have when you're the dominant one. But yeah, no, I have noticed that Iranians have been permutating more into higher division leagues, and that's good for globally because there's players everywhere, and it's impossible to say that all good players come from like Brazil, Argentina, Spain. No, there's great talent everywhere, especially with soccer and football becoming just such a globalized sport as it's always been, but now with social media more than ever. One thing that I've noticed, Iranians are really good at dribbling. Like they are amazing at dribbling. Like just
a lot of Iranians, sorry to cut you off, play futsal and then transition to playing on the field. So that's why they're so good at dribbling. Like for example, Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh, who plays for Brighton, he originally wanted to go pro in futsal, but his dad's like, there's not much of a career in that. So you should probably play like actual like 11v11 on the field, professional soccer. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. But yeah, that's what we were very well known for, is our dribbling and technical skill.
I love it, man. 5-star skills all around. You're born with them.
Yeah, so I want to get a little bit about the MLS since it's already back. Did you catch the game yesterday? Orlando
I did.
Was in
it was refreshing to watch some MLS football. Even though I was texting a bunch of my friends like, so are you watching the game? Are you watching the game? They're like, no, it's Orlando Inter Miami. I was like, we didn't have MLS for like months. You can't complain what the game is. But yeah, I definitely watched it. It was a little bit lackluster, but at least there's 3 goals. There's more than I thought. I genuinely thought that was going to be like a 1-0, 0-0 game, but it ended 2-1. It's more than I can expect. Definitely this morning's game, I didn't watch it because it was 6 a.m. for me, so I didn't see it. But I was watching the highlights of Philly against NYCFC. That was even though it was 1-0, it was back and forth. That game was great. So I'm excited to hopefully watch the Sounders play and hopefully to see us win this tournament. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask in the tournament, I mean, obviously there was a player that did get injured, and it took forever, kind of like to get the medical staff in there to get the player into the gurney. So there's a lot of like things that the MLS is still trying to figure out. But what are your expectations for the tournament as a whole?
I mean, this is like a big. I mean, last night in the halftime show, Dan Garber says it's best. It's like it was kind of like it's a bit of a long shot. This MLS's back tournament. It's like it's unheard of, man. Like this is not. That's not really a thing where all the teams go to one city and play in a tournament like this. I guess they're doing that with the Champions League, to be fair, too, since everyone's going to be going to Portugal for that. So it's like it's a big risk, and there's a lot of players behind it. And I think so far it's been good. Yes, that whole the injury scare took so long for them to get on the field to stretch them off. That was a little bit frightening and not ideal. For sure, the players are probably a little bit upset about that. But there's always thing is like, okay, let's go back with football in general. Think about VAR. Let's think about goal line technology. There's growing pains with everything. Like nothing's going to be perfect from the beginning, especially if it's something so new, and especially with everything that's going on. You can't expect everything to be perfect. And I think the players are getting like a lot of, I think Omar Gonzalez like tweeted out like a photo of the food that they were eating, and it's like just it wasn't good enough for them. And there's like debate back and forth. Some players are like, well, this is better than what I had when I was a child. Like I had to scrape for food back in the day. So it's like, why are we complaining about food and all that? And nothing's perfect. Like it's like everyone's trying to do their best to make this tournament happen. It's like it's good. Like you're helping out the fans. At least we can watch them play, and like the players are still. Like we all don't know this, but players are getting bonuses for playing in this tournament. Like most of them are like some of them are dropping out because like, well, Vela's like multimillionaire. Does he really need to play in this at the end of the day? No. But players that are like on the fringes of the benches or on the reserves, this is bonuses and money, bonuses in game time, and it's a good thing. Honestly, it's a good thing. I think the format's a little bit wonky with how like the group stage games count towards points in the season and all that, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, like I would have personally preferred like a straight up like just blank slate tournament where it's like true World Cup. There is no points to the regular season. It's just It's just how it goes. It is interesting though how if you were to put on your I want to say your media professional hat, would you say, do you truly believe that they'll finish the tournament? And this was just day 1 and 2, and so many things that kind of popped up, and they can fix them and as we go. But if there is a scare or two, I thought with FC Dallas, there we go, calling it DC United again, FC Dallas dropping out, like that's a whole squad dropping out, like,
and Nashville officially dropped out,
and Nashville too. Yeah, so I mean, do you think are we gonna have an end to this tournament?
That's an interesting. I genuinely didn't think about this, but dude, I don't know. It's already been, as you said, it's been so weird. Nashville dropped out literally the first day of the tournament, which sucks. But it was like it had to be on the decision call that they had to make that, and then Dallas had to drop out. It's like if you guys are watching Premier League games, like you guys and the listeners, it's like it seems like that's running smoothly, and there's not even any hiccups. And if anything, when I watch that, I feel like it kind of seems like a normal Prem game to me, and I don't really notice like the big difference. Of course, you can notice that there's no people and when there is people, but I think they've done a great job with the crowd noises, putting banners up on the seats and all that. And I think it's been great. I am a little worried about MLS. There's been too many hiccups, and it's only been 2 days, man. So I am a little bit worried, and I actually don't think it might not finish. I think after, like, if something else comes up that's kind of big, I think they might end it after the group stages.
Yeah, because there's questions about will the field hold up all those games?
Yeah, especially with rainstorms in
exactly.
In Florida. So it's like,
yeah, like I was hearing the announcers in the game that they didn't hear any players complaining about the pitch so far. But again, with the rain and all the teams that are going to be playing on that field, the grass is eventually going to wear out a bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, with not the best grass, there's going to be more injuries.
And players don't want to risk injuries in a tournament that doesn't really, really matter.
Does it, though? I mean, let's say Seattle goes all the way and they win it. Here's the thing. I liken it to Major League Baseball. I don't know if you follow any type of baseball.
I do not.
Do not. Cool. Perfect. You're on his side.
My guy right here.
Anyway, what's happening there is same thing. Like you have a season that's 162 games. That's now a 60-game season. So
wow, they've condensed it that much?
yes, so it's a 60-game season plus playoffs, and so if you win the World Series, they're still going to call it the World Series. Does it count? I mean, it's going to be a giant asterisk. So, I mean, me as a Padres fan, we've never won one. I'm going to say yes, where everybody's going to say no, it doesn't count.
You won the one MLB championship that doesn't really matter. The joke one.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you're a franchise that's never won any type of MLS tournament and you do win one, do you add a star?
I think it does. I think it does count.
I mean, it depends on who wins it, though. If an LAFC, I don't even know LA Galaxy. They've gone down so many tiers for the past couple of years. Okay, an LAFC, Seattle Sounders, Atlanta United. If someone like them wins it, I don't think they're gonna they're gonna be it's whatever. We want it. It's all good stuff. But if a team like Orlando or Portland or something like that wins it, kind of as you said with the Padres. Fun fact, one of the only baseball games I've seen live is the Padres.
Sweet. With the Mariners, which is
Mariners against the Padres.
The Vetter Cup. It's a little. Some would say it's a derby of such.
I didn't feel like it was a derby.
Yeah, because baseball is boring, and baseball is just watching grass grow with people in the way.
Hey, every once in a while to watch a game, it never hurts, going out with a friend that watches it, likes baseball, hey, it gives you an excuse, and it's cheap. It's actually reasonably priced, so you can't complain.
Yeah, I agree there. So, I mean, you're talking about the Premier League and how there really doesn't seem to be any hiccups and it's running super smoothly. Got to talk a little about Chelsea,
Chelsea.
The Blues.
You guys have a decent squad. You guys have decent signings. What are your expectations for next season for your team in blue?
Man, Chelsea, all my friends are texting about it. It's insane. Oh, I love it. The flag too, man. Absolutely love the scenes.
How to get ready. Proceed.
It's just, it's the team looks good. I've been so happy with that transfer ban. I'm so happy with it. Because we finally have been able. Everyone was texting me, calling me Sean, you guys are gonna suck. You're gonna finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and I was like,
"We're not Man United."
You can think that. You can think that.
We're 5th.
We're not. We ain't Tottenham. We ain't Arsenal. This is legit blessing in disguise. It's the best thing that's happened to this club. Because we had so many players that were out on loan that deserved a chance. This team needed a restart. It was getting you could see with Maurizio Sarri. And I love Sarri. He's my long-lost grandfather. I'll never forget anything he did for us. I absolutely love him. I hated him when we first came in. That's just because I loved Conte so much.
Yes.
But with Sarri, I love him forever. But you can just see how rotten to the core that squad was getting. It was so dead, and it was so dry. No creativity. And it's just they seemed so exhausted. Frank comes in. He's and he's more willing to be hey, I'll play more of the youth. What the heck? Why not? We have the band. Might as well. We gave a shot to most people probably thought Giroud was binned off. He's looking he's looking really good. He's looking better than half the strikers in the Prem.
Yeah.
I mean, then you find out Batshuayi, he's not good enough. He's not going to cut it. Then he goes out. This has been a perfect restart for them. So now Frank knows his squad. He knows who he likes. Now since he's been so patient, it annoyed me so much in that January window when Chelsea fans were we need to buy someone. I was like, dude, there's no one even on the market. We're going to be buying someone stupid. Even though the ban did get lifted, and what's the point? It's just in case if someone did become available, then we could buy him. But there was no one really available. We're going to buy Callum Wilson? Dumb signing. You need to be we've already been so patient so far. We need to be even more patient right now. We were patient. We got Ziyech. We got Werner. We're most likely getting Havertz. Dude, the squad's... That's insane. There's no words that can describe it.
And the way they started long ago before any of this happened. We started on a hot streak. We had Tammy Abraham just being a goal monster in the beginning of the season. Yeah. And this team is so young. Honestly, when Lampard came in and he has these kids on the field, I said, well, this season's probably going to be one of those rebuild seasons. We didn't get much off of Hazard. We just lost him. We're going to have to rebuild and this and that. Lampard's not really proven. No, complete opposite. And rightly so. you have your doubts, but I like getting proved wrong, especially in such a way that with this team, with what we have, we've managed to go up again into third for now. Granted, first and second,
I think it will stay that way.
Yeah, I do too. But first and second, Liverpool and Man City are obviously in just a different league right now, where I think Liverpool is just on its last great season, or one of the two, depending how they move things around. But I mean, Chelsea, if we're being honest, I didn't think Chelsea had not necessarily any right, but third. I mean, it's impressive with what we've done compared to the other teams. Granted, too, you have Sheffield there. Tottenham's not doing well. Arsenal,
they're hit and miss.
Yeah, Arsenal's just sad. But I mean, yeah, third place with likes of Mason Mount, Reece is doing amazing, and again, we have these players coming in. Oh man!
I know with all these players, and on top of, we're literally one to, in other people's, like, it's 50-50 between the Chelsea community, 2 players away. Depending, I could care less what happens to Kepa. If he stays, he stays. If we sell him, we sell him. But people need to think, like, we've been so patient. Everyone forgets, especially as a Man U fan, you'll understand this. De Gea was garbage when he first came. Garbage. Yeah. And he became, and I'm a big De Gea fanboy. I still think he's the best keeper in the Prem. He's just having a bit of a downslope at this very moment. He was bad when he first came in. You just got to trust him. Dude, goalkeeping is one of the most difficult positions. And it's like, I mean, if you concede, you're the bad guy. Like, it's all your fault.
Tell him.
And so they need, like, we need to, if we end up selling him, it's whatever. I don't really mind. We get Onana, it happens. But it's like, I don't really mind if we keep Kepa. What just sucks now is any shot that's on target most likely will go in. I'm going to be honest. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then all we need is a left back. And Chelsea are title contenders, man. This team looks amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's that De Gea was bad or they're young goalkeepers. And like Tony's he plays goalkeeper, and he's told me a goalkeeper prime is probably like in his 30s.
Yeah, and I heard Tony's one of the best out there, so he knows what's up.
We actually played yesterday, and he made some really good stops. Should have been recording that.
Yeah,
highlights.
Maybe now there was too many people out there without a mask. But no, definitely, I like that this news of me being a good goalkeeper is all the way almost near Canada. So it's going to be international, tri-national. They know in Mexico. They're starting to learn here. He's taking care of it up in that area, letting the
Pacific
Maples.
Northwest.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean that's what's coming up, and I think so. We're going to be title contenders. But
I do have to ask, what are your thoughts on Pulisic?
Good question, because I don't like him.
I don't like him that much either.
Yes, I knew you were the man. You're the man.
I'm not a big fan of the U.S. men's national team. That's why.
Yes, look.
Facts
Definitely.
On facts.
I mean, he's good though, but I'm getting a little annoyed. We're comparing him
that he's
to
too
Hazard.
Good. Oh yeah,
he's
one
thing I will give Pulisic is he's the only direct player. The issue is what people keep forgetting is it's because, especially Chelsea fans, we've been stuck with Pedro and Willian, these dead, dry players for too long, way too long. Willian's only playing well because he wants that goddamn 3-year contract. That's the only reason he's playing well. When the chips are down and he gets his money, Willian can bin off, honestly, because he's not going to try anymore. Willian's going to go back to old Willian where he just shimmies it to the right, does the same shit over and over again. It's because we've had such dead players other than Hazard, and then we became too reliant on Hazard. And now everyone's like, oh, Pulisic is the next coming of Jesus. And I'm like, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But in all honesty, as a Man U fan, I think Mason Greenwood could even be better than him.
Funny you mentioned Mason.
Yeah. So we've actually had debates with other friends, a couple people, about who would be who's the better prospect, whether it's Greenwood or Phil Foden for Manchester City.
Oh, that's so tough. And especially because they play 2 different positions. Dude, they're both nasty.
Yeah. So Foden's, he's, I believe, 20 years old. Greenwood's 18. I mean, my biased self thinks Greenwood is the better prospect. Just because of his finishing abilities. He's a really great finisher.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of people that can use both feet. And a kid that's 19 and that can use both feet, and he shoots it. I don't know if anyone notices this. I mean, commentators have said it. He shoots it just like RVP.
Yeah.
I have not seen a left foot like that in years, man. That's like very nostalgic. And I agree. I think one thing that I'll give Greenwood is he's got age on his side. Dude, it's mind boggling. He's 18. He's already banging close to a double digit season. He can use both feet. He's got a really good core behind him in the midfield. But what I will give Foden is he's breaking into it. This City squad, Phil Foden, he's breaking into one of the best teams in the world. It just shows he's doing something right. Pep Guardiola likes him. He's like, we don't need a David Silva replacement. We got Phil Foden. So I don't think we've quite seen the full total potential of Phil Foden. Like, he's been getting game time recently just because the season's basically dead for them. Like, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah.
But I think Phil Foden could be the future of England's midfield, honestly. And he's like a leader. That's what I really like about him. You can see when he plays on the field, he's just got leadership qualities. He holds everyone around him accountable. And maybe he gets that because of Pep, because of David Silva, because of De Bruyne, because of Gundogan. Like, he's got good role models all around him. And with Greenwood, he's kind of surrounded by not so good role models, in my opinion. I don't think Pogba's a good role model. In all honesty, I don't think he's the leader type. Fernandez, yes, he could be, but he's definitely just a pen merchant. He's just a B-Tech Jorginho. And I'm just like, I don't know. I can't like that.
No, yeah, and that's honestly my argument for that. The fact that you can say ole this, ole that, and then the Manchester United has these players, that players, but and you can't really compare. Like you said, they're two different positions. But if we're talking just like who's going to impact their teams and squads more, I guess it's a little bit intangible. But you can see, you can tell if that's a thing. I think the fact that Foden is with Pep is versus Greenwood that has Ole. I mean, that in itself is just miles and galaxies different. And, I can't say who's going to be next at Man U or if he's going to stay there for a while, what the career trajectory is going to be, injuries and whatnot. But I think the fact that, Pep is there. Look at Thiago. We were talking about it the other day. Thiago, when Bayern Munich was made by Pep, because he came from La Masia, came from Barcelona. He knows exactly what he did. But had he stayed in Barcelona, he would have been great. But I think he individually, as a player, Thiago, was unlocked. Just you don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but his potential was unlocked. Let's just say that.
I like that. I like the Dragon Ball Z analogies. I got.
Oh, I love it, man. We actually just got and I'm really proud of this. The voice, the narrator got on Cameo just to say next time on Two Balls in the Mic and previously. So I'm just gonna use that.
I think I did hear that. No, I was wondering how'd you guys get that. I thought you probably pulled some audio clipping with that.
Oh no, I straight up I paid it and it was the best money I've put down in a while.
Dude, that's a good investment right there.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about Chelsea. We gotta talk a little bit about my Man U. That's fine. We're looking promising right now. Like Tony said, we're playing out of our minds right now.
I guess.
But the thing is, you guys are playing out of your minds against not so good teams.
I mean,
you guys barely honestly, that Spurs game could have gone either way.
All right, so what's your honest prediction for the FA Cup semifinal?
So United and Chelsea have played 3 times. The one thing that pisses me off about Man U fans is like, oh, we've beaten you guys 3 times this season. And I'm like, well, okay, 1, who's higher in the standings? 2, if you watch every single one of those goddamn games, we'll go flashback. First game of the season. This is the first game of the season, and we hit the woodwork twice. We were better in most majority patches of that game. But that's fine. We'll give it to you. 4-0, sometimes it happens. It happens. Yeah. Second game, we play our B team. You guys play your A team. And you score off a penalty, which you guys are just pen merchants, and a free kick. You don't even score from open play. The third game, absolutely the biggest rubbish game I've ever seen. VAR.
Oh, my God.
Saved you guys so much. Yeah, sure, Martial's goal. It's fair. Then we score, and ours gets taken back. We score again, it gets taken back. And then Maguire kicks Batshuayi in the nuts. And I don't understand how that's not a red to this day. And then he scores. You guys looked out in that game. So hard you guys looked out.
You want to have a job as a co-host of Two Balls and a Mic?
I mean, hey, if the spot opens up,
I
mean, respond. I mean,
it's pre-COVID. I get it. Before everything got shut down. I honestly boycotted watching Man U for a while.
Wow, he even knows
Actually
not
did.
to watch his own team.
Exactly.
I actually did.
Trust me. Yeah.
And I started watching it again once we played Tottenham. Actually, I was like, I gotta watch them play Mourinho for the first time since he left Man U, and we beat Tottenham. And then I started watching the games again because I liked how we were playing with Ole. And then all this happened. No soccer. Came back. We got Bruno Fernandes. Everything was ever since we came back. Bruno Fernandes has been playing great. There was what's it called? Since Pogba and Bruno Fernandes have been on the pitch, Man U scores like every 38 minutes, which is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they get a penalty every 38 minutes, probably.
I'll give you this.
VAR.
I don't think it was a penalty, the one they gave today to Man U.
Whether you think it was a penalty or not, yeah, y'all can still get him. It still counts.
Like almost every game. It's mind blowing to me.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise, I guess, for us.
Do you believe in VAR? Are you a VAR fan?
Dude, I mean, Iran got screwed with the VAR from that World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Ronaldo blatantly punches one of our players, elbows him in the face, and he doesn't get sent off. And to this day, I still don't understand that either. I mean, as I said earlier on this podcast, I got to be true to my word. There's a lot of growing pains, and hopefully it will be good, but I'm not a fan of it. I'd prefer if it wasn't in the game. Because at least, okay, if there's mistakes, there's mistakes.
Yeah.
It happens. That's fine. But we have VAR, and there's still mistakes. Come on. That's my biggest issue.
Yes, but think about it. It's starting up. It's a process that it needs to, when you learn how VAR is actually going to be working, it does need to be fixed a little bit. But at the end of the day, the idea of VAR is, I think, what soccer needs.
Well, that's the idea of it, not the application. Because if you apply it, look what's happening.
But yeah, it's trial and error. You got to try it at one point.
Yeah, but then
there's gonna be a mistake, but eventually you learn from those mistakes.
All the errors are helping Man United.
In general, it's just outweighing the good. In my opinion, I think all the errors is outweighing the good of it. Because let's talk about today's game. Villa played United. Bruno Fernandes stomps on the Villa defender. Honestly, could it be getting the yellow, but instead VAR doesn't overturn that when it's clearly not a penalty.
I agree with you on that one. I really thought it could have even been a red to Fernandes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he's there. I messaged our group chat. I was like, I don't think that was a penalty. Yeah. I can't do anything as a fan but to celebrate the goal. At the end of the day, we did destroy them 3-0.
In all consolation, I think Villa would have been in the game if that wasn't because they were playing well up to that point, and then definitely blows the stuffing out of you when you get a poor call like that.
Yeah, but then you have Greenwood scoring a right footer outside the box.
Damn it. Which because you guys had the momentum given because of the penalty, because VAR sucks because they can't figure it out. Look, are we just going to put a bunch of asterisks on every season? Because if that's what we're talking about,
I mean, you want to celebrate asterisks, so.
You know what? I don't agree with VAR. I don't like it. It's not ready yet, and I guess those growing pains, like you said, are going to have to happen. And if they do come to a point where it's perfected, even then, I don't need perfect soccer. I agree. I told you this. Dave Grohl, he's the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, my favorite band. Mm-hmm. He's a rock band. He thrives off of just errors during his live performances. You don't want the live performance to sound like the record. You want something to sound like yours, like it was there, it was intimate. And
I like the mistakes.
It's the mistakes that give its character.
Give it controversy.
Exactly. You have the best of the best players on the field. You have the best of the best managers on the field, the best of the best cameramen, the best everything, best of the best referees. And if they get it wrong, they get it wrong. Just like the best of the best players miss.
You always tell me this, and I tell you love mistakes so much. There's still mistakes with VAR, but the thing with VAR, it's limiting those mistakes.
It's creating new ones.
It's limiting the mistakes.
But creating new ones.
But you love mistakes so much. Why not love those new ones?
because I don't like change, and I am a soccer purist.
I mean, he personally doesn't like the 5 subs either. I mean, I think it's a good idea.
I don't like it. And again, caution to the wind. I'm a player. What do you mean 5 subs? Nah, you're here. You're gonna suffer your 90 minutes or not. You can't make it, then walk yourself off. But again, that's selfish me. If I'm looking for the player's health, of course,
it's the millennial thinking.
I don't actually totally honestly with Tony. I don't disagree about the 5 subs thing. I personally don't like it, but I can see how it's beneficial, so I don't mind. Like. This is my biggest issue with it, which Ole literally did it, was he brought on 5 subs in his one go. And that's where I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like, this is ridiculous. He's
you can use it as you can use it as you please. You can only get to stop the game 3 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can make subs at halftime, which is completely fine as well.
It's too beneficial to the bigger teams, man. It's way too beneficial. Like, you think of Burnley, they barely have a squad. They're playing 2 goalkeepers on their bench. Like, it's the 5 subs ain't beneficial unless you're going to play one of the keepers on the field. Like, it's not very beneficial. But about VAR, though, I think probably my biggest issue with it is, like, the toenail offsides. Is it onside? Is it offsides? Like, I'll say, like, watching just off the top of my head, like, the game against Leicester Arsenal, Vardy scores, and then we're having to review it, like, 3-4 times. And if you know right off the bat, like, Iosi Perez doesn't touch it, which I said it right when I saw it, I was like, let's play, man. Like, we're sucking so much life out of this. Let's get it going. That's probably my biggest issue is, like, we're checking, is Giroud's foot barely on? Is it barely off? Who touched it last? Like, no, I don't like this. I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd rather, I don't want to say I'd rather not have the goal if it was, like, for my benefit. But if it is going to take 5 minutes out of the game, my players are going to get cold. There's going to be more injuries. Like, yeah, go ahead and start moving. But honestly, like, it just kills the momentum of the game, the flow. That's why I take pride in.
But
like,
how many times has it actually taken more than 40 seconds?
One too
minute?
many. One too many.
Really?
Really?
I don't know off the top of my head times it has been over like a couple minutes where we review something, but I believe it's been at least a minimum of a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's no way it definitely has not.
But again, my thing is, it's a trial and error. You got to try it at one point to make it what you want in the future.
You want FIFA. That's what you want. Because FIFA
No, I don't want
100% gets it right. I never question FIFA offsides. Ever. Why? Because it's a video game. Like, the pixels was on that side of, like, yeah, like, there had to be 3 pixels offsides for it to be offsides. Sure, I get it, whatever. But human beings, like, you're trying to be computers. Like,
No,
you're not.
my thing is, I just don't want to relieve Nora Penal. I don't want to relive that. That was a huge mistake by the referee. And this is why I'm in favor of VAR, because that wouldn't happen anymore.
It's everyone has deep rooted like hate behind. Like, for me, it's like Iran's World Cup. I think we got screwed by VAR, and then like for you guys, yeah, I can understand that. That's respectable. Like, that's fine.
You guys are like Mexico of the Asian Confederacy. I like it.
I still haven't heard a score prediction for the FA Cup semifinal though.
12-0 Chelsea. No.
12-0 Chelsea. Wow.
I mean, it's all depending on what squads come out too.
I think they're both gonna come out with their starters.
If football's the fairy tale story that it is, Chelsea have lost all 3 times, and United have had the laugh each time. Lampard can undo all of those losses if he wins this game. He will undo them all, and he'll finally be that hero against Manchester United, because we haven't broken that duck yet. I think we win this on pens probably.
I'd like that. That's why
I think Kepa might come up big, because he is actually pretty decent when it comes to penalties. I will give Kepa that.
Let me ask the Kepa. I guess I would say mehness about it. Was this pre his tantrum and not coming out with sorry, or has this always been with you? Because I'll be honest, that soured me completely.
Yeah, no, definitely. I
Kepa.
disliked Kepa a lot after that. I said that's just not good. Like, it's really bad. And the whole like, we could have won that. Luckily, it was the no one gives a shit about cup. Luckily, but for us, like, it would have been an extra trophy, but. Yeah. It just ruined our whole momentum. Like, we were starting to get under City's skin that game. They're like, damn, they're actually taking us to pens, and we've been like all over them, and like we've been playing half decently. And then Kepa pulls out that stupidity, and then Sarri tries to play the mind games, like, oh, let's bring on Caballero. This has been done once before. I'm an absolute mastermind, and he refuses to come off. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. And then it just makes the club look like a joke after how it was all done. It's like, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Kepa then. And I'm still not really like the biggest fan of him. But at the end of the day, one thing that also is the biggest pet peeve about Kepa is when everyone's like, he's the most expensive goalkeeper. He costs us 80 million. He technically only cost us 40 million. Everyone forgets we sold Courtois for half that price.
Yep.
So it's like we didn't really spend 80. Our hand was forced. He was sold at 40. We had to pay the 80. So it's like we didn't have a choice. We had like hours before that window closed. But, I mean, Kepa's just – it's like now, I don't know, he just grown used to it. Like, any shot that really goes in that's relatively close to the corners or bottom corners, he'll probably go in.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a penalty win for Chelsea moving on to the FA Cup final. I think it'll be – I like open play goals, and I like just straight up just it's over. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Chelsea. We're going to have –
And since soccer is not a fairy tale story – and you're gonna win the 4th game.
This is why people hate
season.
you guys. Like,
and I think it's actually gonna be a 3-1 win by United.
3-1?
Yep.
You think we're not gonna even compete?
I think you're gonna score 1 goal.
it's gonna be okay.
And you guys will probably score first, to be honest. But we got VAR on our side.
You know what?
Oh god! At least he admits it too.
Wait, is there VAR in FA Cup?
Is there? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think United's gonna win 3-1. I think we're playing too dominantly right now, and the chemistry just looks really good with Bruno
Then how
Fernandes.
about Chelsea then? Are we not playing dominantly right now? I
Yeah,
mean, our games are
but
close. But at least we're still
Pulisic
winning
is not
them.
gonna do anything. Wan-Bissaka is gonna have him in his pocket.
Don't speak ill about Captain America, all right?
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka
A lot
is
of
gonna
your
have him in
American
his pocket.
listeners
Man.
won't be happy about that one. I mean, I don't know. Pulisic and Wan-Bissaka having, other than that first game when Pulisic came on, I wouldn't speak so highly about Wan-Bissaka. When you saw him playing that first game, Pulisic was running right on him. That was his first ever game.
Mm-hmm.
And with the form he's on now, I don't know. It might not be a fun time for Wan-Bissaka.
It'll be a great time for Wan-Bissaka.
I rate Wan-Bissaka a lot. He's my
the best
favorite
tackler in
player.
the game.
He's my favorite player in Man United only because he has so much heart. And as a goalkeeper, and that's a defender, if you lose the ball, it's your ass that has to come back and get it, and he does every time, and I respect that. Other than that, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, and I hope Matic scores too, just against Chelsea.
Bro, come on now. Just be a
Matic
jerk.
just has to. You guys bought Chelsea's garbage. I didn't understand that
I
one.
mean, Matic is.
We got Conte. You guys can have Matic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Imagine the damage you could have done with Matic and Conte, though.
Not really, because we
We
have
did.
Jorginho.
We won the Prem.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we didn't need him anymore. He was past it. And the bam, we sold him.
It's all good.
And
we
Papi
got
Mourinho
Bruno.
had him on
We
the
got
bench.
Bruno.
His own Papi Mourinho had him on the bench.
We got Martial, Rashford, Greenwood.
Yeah, but no. Fun fact though. But you have a guy that doesn't even get called up to his own national team. We have the starting striker for France.
I mean, yeah, but it's so much bullshit that they don't call Martial.
World Cup winner.
I mean, I'll give you that. I really like Giroud. I think he's a really underrated striker. And he scores the most beautiful goals, honestly.
But you haven't said anything about Martial not being there. Interestingly enough.
I already said it's bullshit. I think he should be called up. But consider the squad that France has. And by that World Cup, Martial at the time
Even
wasn't
Gignac
playing.
probably has more caps than Martial.
Probably. And the thing with Martial is he's really inconsistent. But when he's on form like he is right now, he's dangerous.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
But maybe in a month or two, he'll probably be out of form again and just be losing the balls.
How many seasons did it take Martial to get his first hat trick?
Oh, I mean, we hadn't had a hat trick since Van Persie. So
And then how many seasons did it take Pulisic and Tammy Abraham to get their first hat tricks?
Ooh.
That's a Chelsea question.
I mean, it's a sports question because it was big news.
So answer.
Daily double. This season, bro.
This season.
It's fine.
Took Martial 5 seasons, and Rashford still doesn't even have a hat trick.
That does not matter though.
I'm loving.
I don't
this.
know.
I'm loving
I think
this.
it does.
Rashford is a role model on and off the field.
Okay.
There's no denying that.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. He can feed all the homeless puppies he wants. Or
You calling children puppies right now?
I don't
Wow,
know what he's
breaking news.
doing.
2 balls in the mic
I
canceled.
didn't know. God damn it! I don't
Comment
know
by
what he's
Tony.
doing. All right.
No, I don't disagree. Yeah, sure, he's a good humanitarian, but it has nothing to do with him on the pitch. If we want to talk about humanitarian stuff, we can.
I mean,
do it on
before
the
his injury,
humanitarian podcast.
he was crazy in form before the injury.
Sure, with a lot of penalties. Look, let's think about it. Rashford has scored, I think, 2 or 3 more goals than Tammy Abraham, but takes free kicks and pens for Man U.
True.
I mean, those are part of the game, you know.
I know, but Tammy doesn't even take them for us. And again,
That's
it's his
cool.
first season.
There's players that miss a lot of
Rashford's like
penalties as
third
well.
or fourth, man. It just is like there's discrepancies between Chelsea's squad, and maybe it's due to management, maybe the skills of the players, but there's discrepancies.
And my favorite thing about all of this is that all of these English players are going to do absolutely nothing about it.
Nothing,
yeah, they won't do anything.
Do well for England.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I agree with. I mean, there's no denying Man U has been on a downslope ever since Ferguson left, and it's been a struggle to rebuild the team. Man U is not going to be the same team that it was when Ferguson was there, and the fact that some Man U fans still hope that we'll get to those glory days again, it's a dream.
Change is okay sometimes. In your guys' case, this change was fine for most teams in the Prem. We were cool with you guys having this change.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Man U is still a top team in the Premier League. And I think it's finally leading to that track where we should be competing for the title for next season, because I think it's going to be a close race. It won't be like this season where Liverpool just completely took over. I think Chelsea's going to be dominant. Man City's always going to be there without Champions League, so they get to focus on the Premier League. Liverpool's going to be there. Man U, if they're playing like they're playing right now, it's going to be a fun season to watch. Mm-hmm. And then you never know Tottenham what they're going to bring to the table. Probably a 6th place finish.
I don't know, dude. Tottenham's in, like, if we're talking about teams that are in danger, it's going to be interesting to watch. If you guys knew, the Amazon Prime All or Nothing for Manchester City. They're doing one for this season for Tottenham. Yep. So it's going to be interesting to watch this because there's nothing really historic about it.
So it's going to be a comedy.
And we're going to kind of get the ins and outs to like when Poch left, when Jose came in. So it's going to be interesting, especially. I don't know what's going on with Tottenham. They're just not looking like the team they used to be.
I mean, you have Yoris trying to like beat up Son. So I mean,
but it was beautiful though. So it's like it's fine.
I hope that's in the All or Nothing.
I'm just happy everybody's getting their fair share of Mourinho. Like Mourinho, to this day, is my favorite manager of all time. He's an asshole. He's a jerk, but he's the best jerk. And once he's yours, he's like, oh, he's our jerk. And then you start souring when he's there, like the second year, you're like, okay, I can get out now. Like you've been here, like it's that guest that's at your party that kind of lingers, like, all right, just.
I mean, he did get us the Europa League trophy, so.
Glory,
it was a one trophy.
Glory, Man
it was the one trophy he didn't have.
That's true. I think it's a trophy Sir Alex never won for Man U, but that's just because they were never in the Europa League.
So I mean, it's kind of a good trophy not to win,
Exactly.
Oh man,
especially when you're winning Champions Leagues.
We won the most recent one.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Not Liverpool.
Did you? So Chelsea? How did you end up at Chelsea? Like, has this been long?
Chelsea's is a love hate story for them. There's always been up and downs. But I think when I wasn't really into soccer, like I mentioned to you guys. My parents were really into it. I started playing with my friends FIFA 12. I started playing soccer with them. First ever jersey I got when I was in Germany was the Chelsea 2008-2009 kit, and I still have it to this day, and it actually still fits me. And
I wish I could say the same. That's why it's hanging up there.
And so I don't know. Since they were the first kit I had, I wear that when I go play with my friends, and they were like, "Oh, which team do you want to be?" When we played FIFA, or the people would ask, "What team do you support?" I was like, "Well, I guess Chelsea. I mean, they're like the team that I enjoy." And then I started following them rigorously. One of my favorite player of all time is Fernando Torres, who also played for them, and I just kept watching them, and I kept enjoying the team. And then, I mean, now we're here. I mean, since like 2011, 12, it's pretty much when I became like a big supporter of them. Yeah. And then now we're here, and now I'm known as a Chelsea Sounders fan. So
I love hearing people's stories of how they start following their club.
Yeah.
It's always interesting because everyone it's usually one reason, And it's like you said, probably Fernando Torres was probably a big reason for you. For me, for Man U, was probably Chicharito.
I think that's most
Chicharito,
Mexicans.
Yeah,
my best friend's Mexican, and he's a big United supporter as well.
No, that goes back to my Pulisic logic. Like the reason I'm a Mexican, and I hated the fact Chicharito went to Man U because I want to cheer for Chicharito because he's my countryman and he's doing well in Europe and amazingly, but he happens to play for the wrong team. not only does he play for the wrong team, he happens to
also
destroys Chelsea and is
with his face
and like owns all the real estate in Czech's mind. Like this is Czech who did not let Messi score on him.
Yeah.
Like stopped the penalty. But Chicharito, no. Same thing with Pulisic. I'm a Mexican supporter, but I'm a Chelsea fan. So I'm like, yeah, let's go, Pulisic. You're doing great for Chelsea. That's just going to make you better when you come back and kick our ass in the Mexico Confederate League. So
I wouldn't worry too much, guys. Honestly, as Mexicans, I wouldn't worry too much about the United States. You guys beat the USA with your B team against their A team in the Gold Cup. You guys are miles ahead for right now. You just got to hope that
for right now.
Pulisic is by far the saving grace for USA, and most fans would agree with that. Mm-hmm. Mexico just got to keep building, man. You guys' team, you guys have one of the best strikers, and then you also not on top of that, dude. I'm a big fan of Polito. I'm a big fan of Pizarro. Those guys are absolute beasts.
Yeah, and
I think you guys have a good squad. Like I think you guys could be world beaters come a couple of years down the line. So I wouldn't worry too much. USA's working on qualifying for World Cups. You guys got that in the bag.
That's right.
U.S. did save us to qualify to a World Cup. So
yeah, that 1 year. Let's just pen it now. Let's just start scheduling it. So 2026 World Cup, Iran, Mexico, final. I'm down.
I'm down.
Right? World Cup final.
We'll get press passes.
World Cup final.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Press passes for all three of us.
If we get to the round of 16, that's a World Cup final for us.
I mean, Mexico's dream is to get to that quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Infamous fifth game.
I don't think
you guys will. It's just like it's been an okay. Let's think about it. Let's go back. Guys played the Netherlands, who are the World Cup finalists. You guys played Argentina, who had like a really good squad during that year.
Twice.
You guys then played Brazil, who made it to the semifinal. Yeah, twice exactly. You guys played Brazil, who made it to the semifinals, and it's like you guys have you've been a bit unlucky with the draw. If you guys could have gone England's draw in the last World Cup,
yes. Oh my God.
I'm just saying this for the 2014. If we beat Netherlands, Mexico makes it to that semifinal, if not the final.
Because the next team a little bit of a stretch.
Because the next team would have been Costa Rica. We would have beat Costa Rica for sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know. I know. They're.
You know.
Yeah,
they do. They went as much as if you think that Costa Rica is a pushover, they ran Netherlands for their money. That game went all the way to PKs as well.
No, I'm not saying they're a pushover, but Mexico has more experience than Netherlands playing Costa Rica, and they know their style, and it would have been a really fun game to watch.
Unfortunately, as hard as it is, it's too much of what ifs, so we would never know.
And it was a long time ago too, so
exactly.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh man, I sometimes watch that game and then I see the not up and down, and I'm like, why did I do this to me?
We have a couple questions here, kind of just to take us home a little bit. Little bit of rapid fire. What are your favorite cleats of all time?
I'm not much of a cleat guy.
Nice.
But mine would be the Tiempos.
Nice. Classics.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can have a golden ticket, you can watch any sporting event or soccer match in the history of the world, what soccer match would you have gone to?
I've already been to an MLS Cup final to see the Sounders win, so I'm not going to say that one because I've already had that golden ticket. It'd be between seeing Chelsea play in a Champions League game, knockout round's fine, second leg. Or my heart's telling me, and I think this is what I would say, is I would have wanted the golden ticket to see Iran play Morocco in that last 2018 World Cup. To witness my country's second ever World Cup win, which is my first, because I wasn't born in 98.
Mm-hmm.
So I never witnessed USA against Iran. But I always give Jimmy shit about it because he was alive during that time. But I would honestly want the golden ticket to that because that was one of from all the football I've watched, I mean, it is on par with that Champions League final in 2012 for me. I mean, that was the game that probably made me fall in love with the sport because it was just such a Cinderella story. And I was like, wow, if this is what this sport's about, then I love it. That game, for me, it was like one of the happiest day of my life. So I would say that one.
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
That's beautiful. And so what's the dream, man? Tell us what's the dream. You have the Next Generation Football podcast. You're on Instagram. You're here interviewing. MLS professionals. You're on Instagram Live. You're doing it, man.
You're only going to be 21. So.
Yeah. So what's the dream? What's next? What's coming up?
Oh, that's a loaded, tough question. I don't know. I don't feel like age is on my side as much as you guys say that, but I don't know. Soccer has been something I've always loved. I remember I used to get teased in high school because like I always would talk about my friends, but they're like, they're trying to be cool. So it's like, oh, we can't talk about soccer in front of chicks and stuff. Like, come on. And I used to love talking about no matter what. And I've always wanted to find a way to meet other people that talk about the sport all the time, that have the passion that I have. And then comes like I go to college and then I start this podcast. My classmate was like, wow, you have like no like filter in talking about soccer. You'll blurt this out to like the class and all that. I want to do a podcast with you. And at the time I was like, what's a podcast? And then I found out what a podcast was. We started it. He's like, I want to focus on school. I don't think this is my thing, but I think this is your thing. I got to the point where, as you said, I'm interviewing MLS players just based off of networking skills that I've picked up on my own. And I just want to work in the football industry. That's always been my biggest dream. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how bad the job is to a certain degree. I just want to work for a professional football club. I want to be either like a pundit, a commentator, something like that. That's kind of like the dream.
That's awesome, man.
That's great. I honestly, I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure you'll get there, man.
And we're here for each other, man. Honestly, This is what I like. We've met so many people through this venture that we otherwise wouldn't even have known or talked to, and I'm glad we were able to do this because it's honestly some of the funnest times I'm having and meeting some awesome people like you, and just making friends from all over.
Yeah,
I like it. I totally agree with you guys. Yeah, likewise. I mean, for sure. Like, I wouldn't have met you guys if it wasn't through people that we met, and then now I'm on your guys' podcast, which is a massive honor, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate that.
And I really appreciate it. And yeah, that's why I do my podcast, is to talk about the game that most people don't want to talk about sometimes, and get you that inside scoop about, oh, what does Jimmy Conrad think about this thing? No one's asked him that question before. And it's just like, I really enjoy it. And to meet people is probably the best thing ever, because you get to learn experiences from other people, and you become more wise. You become a wise old man.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it.
All right, so we're gonna start wrapping things up. Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can find the Next Generation Football podcast on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, Google Play Music, and we've recently launched our YouTube channel, which is we put up a couple of our podcasts so far on there. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at next_gen_pod, where we do a lot of previews. We've been inviting a lot of the TikTokers to do previews for us, which a lot of people seem to enjoy. And on Twitter at NextGenPod, where we just tweet out whatever we're feeling about when it comes to soccer.
I love it, man. And definitely check all that out. YouTube, I saw that too, is up and running. Really appreciate your time, man. And thank you for, being a Chelsea supporter and helping me, shit on my co-host for a little bit.
I appreciate it, man.
Love to have you back on in the future, man. And stay safe out there, bro.
Likewise, guys. Thank you so much.
Later, man.